In this video, we'll show you how to change the CV axle on your Honda Civic. You can find them on CarParts.com via the link in the description. Loosen the wheel lug nuts on the side of the CV axle you want to replace. Use a breaker bar and a 32mm socket to unblock the nut on the end of the CV axle. For safety reasons, we strongly suggest watching our video on how to jack your Honda Civic safely. Using needle nose pliers, unclip the ABS sensor cable from the strut foot. Using a ratchet and a 13mm socket, unscrew the bolt securing the brake hose clamp. It is necessary to support the lower control arm with a jack to prevent the wheel knuckle from falling. Finish unscrewing the nut on the end of the CV axle. Hey, it's Alex from CarParts.com. For great content, our best price, and fast shipping, download the CarParts.com app now. Next, using a ratchet, a 21mm socket, and a 17mm wrench to prevent the bolt from rotating, unscrew the strut foot nuts. Then remove the bolts. Separate the strut foot from the wheel knuckle. The wheel knuckle is now free. You can remove the CV axle from the hub by pulling on the wheel knuckle. Now you need to disengage the CV from the gearbox. Use a crowbar to pry the CV axle out of the gearbox. Be careful not to damage the gearbox housing when prying. Then pull the CV axle out completely. It might prove difficult to extract. You can order the CV axle used in the video on CarParts.com via the link in the description. Take the new CV axle and unscrew the nut supplied with it. Reinsert the CV axle into the gearbox. Make sure the CV axle is properly inserted into the gearbox. Fully reinsert the CV axle into the wheel hub assembly. Before you put the strut foot back in place, remember to pass the brake hose over the wheel knuckle. Insert the wheel knuckle into the strut foot. Replace the bolts. Remove the jack. Screw the strut foot nuts back on until they make contact, using a ratchet, a 21mm socket, and a 17mm wrench to prevent the bolt from rotating. Finish tightening using a torque wrench. Roughly put the hub nut back in place and screw it back in with a ratchet until it makes contact. Ask another person to press the brake pedal. Finish tightening the hub nut with a torque wrench. Screw the brake hose mounting bracket back on. Replace the ABS sensor cable in its slot. Then you will be able to put the wheel back on your vehicle. Put the car back on the ground and block the wheel properly. Operation complete.